Hello everyone and welcome to day 3 of this year's SuperUnited Rapid tournament in Croatia. It is Ivan Šarić versus Nepomniachtchi, and these are the standings after the 2 rounds of Rapid. There you have it. Fabiano Caruana, Nepomniachtchi and Viswanathan Anand are leading the tournament with 8 points, followed by Jan Krzysztof Duda and Gukesh with 7. With 6 points, Magnus Carlsen and Richard Rapport, Alireza Firuza, then Ivan Šarić and Constantin Lupulescu in last place. As I was planning on showing another game from round 6, I didn't get to it, so that's why I'm showing you the standings now, so you know what we are dealing with, as it is very important for what happens next. So now Nepo is on a very good streak. He won all of 3 games in the second day of the Rapid. He won game 4, game 5, and game 6, and now he faces Ivan Šarić. Ivan has the white pieces, and he's one of the most unpleasant players you could meet when wielding the white pieces. So let's see what happens here. It's a grueling battle of chess theory. First 19 moves are just theory, so we're just gonna fly through them, and then basically it unfolds over the course of maybe 3 moves. So let's check it out. Ivan has the white pieces, and he opens with e4 as he usually does. We have c5 by Nepo, knight to f3, knight to d6, pawn to d6, and now I mentioned in the previous couple of videos that everyone plays either the Alapin c3 or the bishop to b5 check variation, and very rarely do we see d4 nowadays. But as Ivan is a Sicilian player himself, he loves sharp play, he goes for d4. So c captures on d4, we have the main line of the Sicilian, knight f6, knight to c3, and pawn to a6. It doesn't get any better than this. The Najdorf variation of the Sicilian is on the board. We have bishop to e3, the English or the Byrne attack. We have a pawn to e5 and knight to b3, bishop to e7, and now pawn to f3, strengthening the d4 pawn, bishop to e6, and now queen to d2, preparing to castle queenside. Nepo castles kingside, Ivan castles queenside, and now knight b to d7. The knight is coming to c5, then b5, b4. You know the moves. We have castles on opposite sides of the board, so obviously it's going to be a race, and whoever gets to attack first usually wins the game. So g4, we have pawn to b5 and g5. All been played before, nothing new here. Pawn to b4 attacking the knight, and now White has many good choices here, of which all of them have been played. Knight e2, the most popular. You could go knight to d5, you could go knight to a4, you could capture on f6. This is actually what Nepo goes for. We have b captures on c3, queen captures, and now you don't have time for rook to c8 because captures on e7 would be attacking the queen. So first you need to capture back, and now knight to a5. Now you want to play knight to c6, attack the queen and the bishop, take off the dark square bishop from the board, and enjoy the rest of the game having a bishop pair while your opponent doesn't. So, well, rook to c8 is the common move here. Nepo tries to, I guess, trick Šarić into something, because queen to e8 has only been played like 2 times, but Ivan will not be tricked. He just continues with knight to c6, and with rook to c8 we transpose into the very known line that everyone plays. Knight captures on e7 check, queen captures, and now queen to a5. Again, all been played before. Rook to c6, defending the pawns here and preparing to double up on the c file, as the c2 pawn is somewhat weak. And there are a couple of moves that reach this moves that were played in this position. Rook to g1 is a known move, just a nice prophylactic. King to b1 is a known move. As you know, those rooks are coming to the c file. Also, rook to d2 has been played to help out with the support of the c2 pawn, also to double up on the g file. Some bishop to e2 moves have been played, but here Nepo goes, Ivan goes for pawn to h4, and it is now, as of move 19, that we have a completely new game. So this is basically where our game starts, like in the olden days, you know, in the old Shataranj, where you had the mansubas, which were the positions that, you know, there were like 500 of them, and you know, they just started every game after 50 moves, because all of the variations were known prior to that. But they were simpler rules, of course. In chess, we are far from that. But you know, some 1,000 years into the future, we could actually have that with chess as well. Who knows? But okay, after pawn to h4, we have rook f to c8, of course, doubling up on the c file, going after the c2 pawn, and now rook to h2, defending the c2 pawn. We have pawn to h6, and now pawn to b3. And here already you will see some problems for Ivan with this weakening of the position. Now you want to play king to b1, always you want to play this, and then d5 will not be as potent. However, after this b3 move, Nepo's d5 is incredibly potent, as the a3 square has been weakened. So here pawn to d5, and now how do you react to this? well, it's just very tricky because after pawn captures, you will play knight captures on d5, and now also the c3 square has been weakened. And once the knight comes to c3, you know it's just gonna remain there for the rest of the game. So instead, after d5, king to b1 even sacrifices a pawn, although it's not really the best sacrifice. Point is that if now f captures on e4, knight to g4 just completely cripples white as you're attacking the bishop, the rook, and also, okay, the rook can defend the bishop, but after you trade here, also the c2 pawn falls. This is game over. So instead, after d captures on e4, Ivan captures the e5 pawn, and now just e captures on f3. We end the variation with Nepo being up a pawn, and it's a pass pawn already on f3. We have bishop to d4. Now, if the knight moves, okay, maybe you get a checkmate here, but now queen to d6. Nepo says, my position is better. I want to trade down into a winning endgame and enjoy my pass pawn already on f3. So rook h to d2, and Nepo just trades queens. We have captures, captures, and now bishop to f5, putting even more pressure on that c2 pawn. So bishop to c4, stopping the rooks from reaching the c2 pawn, but now knight to e4, attacking the rook, also threatening a knight to c3 check, which would win the rook on d1. And here you already feel that really there are no moves. You have to go for rook to d8 check, as you will be losing the exchange at least. Rook captures with check, king to h7, and now bishop to f1. You cannot allow any rook captures on c4 moves, because then the pawn will just be unstoppable. We have f6 attacks the bishop, bishop to b8, and now pawn to g5. The bishop here will be used to somewhat counter those passed pawns, but as you'll see, it's not going to be enough. Sorry about that. We have king to b2 now by Ivan, and we have g captures on h4. And this is a beautiful moment in the game. Because there are two kinds of players. There are those that will play g4, and I consider myself one of those people. I mean, you play g4, you play g3, you play g2, and that's game over. There's no reason to mess up your pawn structure just for the purpose of capturing a pawn. And the engine really, the engine says like, this is winning, this is winning. The engine doesn't prefer one or the other. But Nepo, as he is, I mean, there are taught like that in the Russian school of chess. If you can grab a pawn, you always grab a pawn, and Nepo grabs it. I mean, he doubles now both of his pawns, but the h3 square is covered. He's gonna win this game. But it just looks like, why would you do this to yourself? You just play g4, and the pawns are unstoppable. But okay, that's why he was a World Chess Championship challenger, and I most certainly am not. So g captures on h4. We have bishop to d3, and now pawn to f2, just advancing that pawn. Rook to e8, and now knight to d6, attacking the rook on e8, rook to e7 check, king to g6, and he was in this position on move 35 that Ivan Šarić resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Nepo gets his 4th win in a row, and he takes the lead in the tournament. Some of the other games are still being played while I'm recording this, so I don't know the exact standings. I can check if they were finished while I was recording, so let me just quickly check. There we go. So currently we have, okay, so both Fabi and Nepo on 10 out of 14. Fabi also won his game very nicely against Gukesh, and Anand in 3rd place with 9 points. So very nicely done. We'll see what happens. 2 more rounds in the Rapids. We'll see if Nepo, Fabi, or Anand will take it all the way, as Anand has been leading the entire tournament. Then he had that slip against Magnus. He just has sort of a mental blockade against Magnus, but who wouldn't? He defeated you in a World Chess Championship match twice. Obviously that will, leave a mark. But okay, what are you going to do? Here you resign because, simply once the bishop leaves the board, you cannot stop pawn to f1, so you can prolong it a little bit, like let's say pawn to f1, but now rook captures on c2 check. King a3, knight to b5 check, king wherever, doesn't really matter. You're going to play rook to c1, attack the bishop, and, now bishop g2 to still sort of guard the f1 square, but now, I mean, even just this is winning, but also you can just play knight d4, bishop to a7, sort of trying to win that pawn, but now f1 queen, and after bishop captures, even knight to c6 check with a beautiful fork here, forking everything white has left, because the bishop will be captured by the rook, and that's it. So once you move it, like rook captures on f1, now the rook is hanging, bishop is hanging, you resign here. Nothing to be played here. So of course Šarić knew that, and that's why he resigned after Nepo played king to g6. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, Nepo and Fabi in the lead, Anand trailing by only a point. We'll see what happens in the 2 remaining rounds of the Super United Rapid tournament in Croatia. I would like to thank James Eugene Cashman, John Austin, Not Complaints, Paul Miller, and Brad Roth for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this wonderful event until it finishes. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And yeah, always be careful when you prepare a novelty. You have to also know how to play it, not just have it prepared. See you soon.